It's hard to know where Bitcoin's going to go. It's always surprising you one way or the other. So I mean, I don't uh I don't pick any particular price target on the downside or the upside because I don't want to disappoint myself or anybody else. I do focus upon the 4-year moving average, and I think the 4-year moving average reflects kind of the basis that most Bitcoin holders have in their Bitcoin. So I tend to think that as it gets close to the 4-year moving average, it gets a pretty strong base of support. But in the near term, given the fact that there's just so much leverage in the rest of the crypto ecosystem, and there are large hedge funds and large traders that have a much shorter term time horizon, they're going to control the price in the near term. I think all you can do is just look out 4 years or longer and maintain your strategy. And in the difficult times, just avoid getting liquidated, right? Make sure that you're not in a leverage situation where you get forced liquidated during the difficult times.
Hello and welcome to Money Talks. In today's video, MicroStrategy CEO Michael Saylor answers important questions related to Bitcoin volatility, bear versus bull market, and where we stand in today's in terms of market volume and price action. Michael Saylor also addresses the importance of a 4-period time horizon in Bitcoin investing and his thoughts on market bottoming anytime soon. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video where Michael Saylor explains fear of getting liquidated and what would be MicroStrategy's long-term strategy if there was no Bitcoin ever. And so without wasting any more time, let's dive right into the video.
I think Bitcoin is the most important technology of the decade, maybe the most important technology of the century. And I think that the key to being a superpower is being a technology leader. The reason that the United States was a superpower in the 20th century was because they mastered oil and steel and air power and atomic power and other forms of technology, radio, electricity. And I think that in the 21st century, if you want to remain a superpower, you have to master digital energy. And I do think right now the United States has a lead in the Bitcoin industry because of so many developments, so many innovations that have taken place here in this country. So I would say it is critical to the prosperity of the country, and it's probably critical to the prosperity of any country in the world as time goes by.
The cryptocurrency market has performed excellently over the past 24 hours, erasing some of the losses recorded over the weekend. The cryptocurrency market has been performing well since the start of the week. The market has added nearly 6% to its value in the last 24 hours, with the total market cap now standing above the 900 billion mark. The performance comes after a poor end to last week, where the total market cap dropped to around 800 billion. Bitcoin, the world's largest cryptocurrency by market cap, is outperforming the broader market at the moment. Bitcoin has added nearly 6% to its value in the last few hours and now trades above the $20,000 per coin mark. Breaking the 20,000 psychological level is an important step for Bitcoin as the cryptocurrency has been struggling in recent days. Last week, Bitcoin dropped below 18,000 for the second time in a month. However, Bitcoin has recovered well and could target 21K resistance level if the rally is sustained.
When you don't have Bitcoin and you look at the inflation rate, your conclusion is, I need to be a net debtor. So I guess you could look at all the other companies in the world that don't have Bitcoin and ask, how do they get by? Like all the Japanese conglomerates, what they do is they take on large sums of debt and they either go private with huge amounts of debt, like an LBO, or they stay public, but they lever on huge amounts of debt because that way they're not carrying cash that's losing purchasing power on the balance sheet, and they lever up their equity. So I suppose we would be a very levered LBO type candidate running with a very thin layer of equity and negative working capital, and hoping, right? It'd be very stressful, because you would be hoping that you never have a bad quarter. Because when you're highly levered up, when you're running with $2 billion of debt and no equity, then when you get a bad quarter, you default on your debt, and then you end up with like Toys R Us situation, or all the companies went bankrupt in the past 20 years. They just have a bad year. They can't make their debt payments. The equity holders get wiped out. The creditors take over the company, and then they start to dismember it and chop it into pieces and sell it. So it would be a pretty dark, unpleasant situation if we didn't have Bitcoin.
The Bitcoin USD 4-hour chart is positive as Bitcoin has been performing well since the start of the week. The technical indicators show that Bitcoin could rally higher if the bulls remain in control. The MACD line is around the neutral zone and could move into the positive region if the rally continues. The 14-day relative strength index of 63 shows that Bitcoin could soon enter the overbought region if the market conditions improve. At press time, Bitcoin trades above 20,200. If the rally continues, Bitcoin could surge past the 21,000 resistance level before the end of the day. However, it would need the support of the broader market to move above the 22,199 resistance level in the near term.
And if you're entering the mining business, you're entering into a very, very competitive industry. So that's why I think it's better, if you have money to invest, it's better to invest the money in Bitcoin, not in a Bitcoin mining rig. I think Bitcoin mining is a business and there are counterparty risk. We've seen, for example, if you had mining rigs in Russia, when the Russian sanctions took place, you lost your mining rigs. Okay, so if you're in business, you can have your business interest damaged by war, famine, tariff, tax, competition, entropy, poor execution. And that's why mining Bitcoin is not the same as holding Bitcoin. It's a very competitive, challenging thing. But if miners on the periphery go out of business, when half the hash rate got wiped out in China, it didn't damage Bitcoin. It simply shifted the profitability to North America. And if Bitcoin prices get cut in half, and if electricity rates double, it won't wipe out Bitcoin mining. It will simply squeeze out people running mining rigs that are previous to S9. The third generation antiquated mining rigs will find their break-even point reaches 1 or 2 cents, a kilowatt hour. And if they can't buy electricity cheaper than a penny a kilowatt hour, they're not going to be profitable. So they'll shut down their hash rate. But when they shut down the hash rate, the difficulty will adjust down in order to balance the network. And the network is probably 1,000 times higher hash rate than it needs to be secure. So I don't really worry one way or the other about Bitcoin. And as for Bitcoin miners, yeah, if I would worry about every one of them. And the reason I don't run a Bitcoin mining company is because it would take all my time and all my attention, and I would be worrying about all of these things.
Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Gary Gensler also reaffirmed the SEC's view that Bitcoin is a commodity, but refrained from extending the label to any other cryptocurrencies in an interview with CNBC. Gensler singled out Bitcoin as an example of a crypto asset that should be regulated under the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC, as he's done previously, but would not comment on other coins or tokens. Some, like Bitcoin, and that's the only one, Jim, I'm going to say, because I'm not going to talk about any one of these tokens. My predecessors and others have said they're a commodity. Gensler said in a response to a question from CNBC's Jim Cramer.
But you know what? That's why we want Bitcoin mining, because there are 100 pretty large Bitcoin mining companies with CEOs and executive teams. And every one of those teams is worried about Bitcoin in Kazakhstan or in Russia or in China or in Canada or in Africa or in Texas or in California or in New York. they're all worrying, and they're worrying so that we don't have to. And ultimately, it's, it is like the skin in your immune system, you know, it's there to catch the infection and protect you. And if you lost your skin, then you would probably not live very long. But occasionally, you're going to suffer a bit, and that's just part of a healthy ecosystem.
So, do you agree with Michael Saylor regarding Bitcoin market bottom? Tell us in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you soon with the next video, and thanks so much for watching.